All right, this is Alan McNabb with Image Building Media. We appreciate everybody being with us, and we have a really special live Facebook video today. We are interviewing Jorge Vazquez, CEO of Graystone Investment Group, and the company owns a number of corporations. They sell real estate locally here in Tampa, but also throughout the world. Have investors in China, in Canada, in Hong Kong, various places. So Jorge, is really super good to have you with us today. And let's get started. Just let you introduce yourself there.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate the awesome introduction. My name is Jorge Vazquez with Graystone, as you know, where you invest and we do the rest. I'm the CEO of the company, guys. I've been doing it for 20 years. I've done at least 2,500 transactions in the past 20 years. I've done every mistake you could think of. And because I've been such a fool, hopefully you won't be a fool like me, and I could give you some of those tips of the mistakes that I've done in the past 20 years. But I've made every mistake you could think of, guys. I put the wrong tenant on the wrong property. I bought the wrong properties, but I learned. And this is what I want to tell you guys about. And that's what I'm here for. Jorge from Graystone Investment Group. Go ahead, Alan.
That's awesome, Jorge. I tell you what, that's part of growing. And, you've got an agency with, you've grown substantially. You've got a lot of agents. You've got a lot of investors. You've got some really talented people, and you've done a great job with teaching them and grooming them. And I mean, Graystone's just been growing leaps and bounds. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and Graystone and what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. So at Graystone, pretty much what we do is we try to help investors build either two things, their present or their future. That's all we're doing. If the client is looking for the optimal way of building cash flow for now or for retirement, how better to do it than doing it with real estate. But when you do it with real estate, there's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of challenges, the knowledge that you need to have. And that's what we're here for. Like I said before, I made every mistake you could think of. I've done every transaction you could think of, from corporate rentals, Airbnb, wraparound mortgage, private notes, you name it, I've done it. So pretty much what we do is we consult investors on this sea of possibilities, which is real estate. We consult them and we help them navigate to get to that final destination. So that's what we do for clients. And the reason of my success is my passion towards helping people. Money is not a motivator for me. What's a motivator for me, Alan, is somebody that says to me, Jorge, I retired because of you. That's an amazing feeling, Alan. Or I was able to put my kid through college because of you. That's what I live for. I could care less about the money, but that's what makes us special as a company, that we take our time. We don't look at people as a number. We really and truly want the best for every single investor, and that's what we do in Graystone Investment Group.
That is super awesome. And Jorge, perhaps tell us a little bit about some of the typical investors. I know you've got a wide variety of investors, whether they're living in different places, whether their finances, some have more to invest, some have less. And also, I think you've got an apartment complex right now, which is rather unique, 21-unit apartment complex. That's just ripe for an investor that you guys have been working on. So maybe tell us a little bit about some of your different type of investors and some properties.
That's an awesome question, Alan. I think we're, like I said, we're open to helping everyone. Anyone that wants to get help, we're going to help them. To me, it's about the will and the passion first, money third. Of course, you have to be realistic as well. So if you as a client have $200, I'm going to say put that $200 towards buying your real estate license, towards education. I had somebody from Puerto Rico that said to me, I have $1,000. What should I do then? Invest it in educating yourself. Because can you do deals without money? Absolutely. To do deals without money requires a ton of knowledge. Now, if you don't have the ton of knowledge, you need a ton of money. So it's either one of the two, right? So if you don't have the money, you need to find a deal that you could present to the person that has the money. If you have the money, then you sit back, you give us the money, or you, not just us, but companies like us have been doing it for a long time. Let us do our thing. You give us the money, we'll make it work. But to answer your question, yes, we have clients from all over the world. Right now in our books, we have clients from Hong Kong, China, Canada, Toronto, Quebec in Canada. We have some clients in South America, Central America. And why do people like investing with us? Why? I mean, am I better than any other company? Am I doing anything, giving money free? No. The difference is that we take that approach of understanding the client's needs before our own needs. You know, because a lot of times, gurus or people that are helping investors out there, they take this gunshot approach, you know, you should buy this, you should buy that, without really profiling the person and understanding what the true needs are, understanding their cash flow, understanding their reserves. Unless you do that, you actually, instead of helping, you could potentially be hurting, because you have the best intentions of providing this person 10, 15 assets. But if you don't look at their patterns or their behavior with their money, and you don't help them from the beginning, what you're doing is just making like I said, the bigger they are, the bigger it crashes. So you're just making the crash even harder for those people that are trying. So we have clients, like I said, from all over the world with different types of experience, from no experience to very seasoned experience. We're just here as a resource for people that need to do that. Now, and you also asked me about a 21 unit apartment complex.
Yeah, that's one of your properties you've got right now. And of course, they all go really fast. So, you know, just as an example, maybe tell us about that.
Actually, we got 3 letters of intent. And for those of you that don't understand what a letter of intent is, because most agents don't, even agents that have 20 years in this business, you tell them LOI, they're like, what the heck is an LOI? A letter of intent, why do we put a letter of intent? And what I'm talking about is I have a 21 unit building for sale. And yes, it got under contract very quick. Within 3 days, we had probably like 4 or 5 offers. Of course, we have a database of 37,000 people and hundreds of thousands of people following us online. So we were able to deploy it quick and get it on the contract quick. But since I'm educated, let's educate here. So letter of intent is your intentions before you go to the actual contract. And why you need to do letter of intents on multi-units is because they're very complex. They require multiple inspections, environmental inspections. It's a different type of appraisal. You know, you want to make sure that you put the letter of intent, you put your ducks in a row, you figure out what you're going to do, and then you put your down payment $10,000, $15,000. So that's why you have to do a letter of intent first. Just to put it to you in perspective, a commercial appraisal could be $5,000. So if you don't have that letter of intent, that step-by-step action plan that you're going to do before you put the property on the contract, well, first of all, the buyer is not going to take you seriously. The funny thing, Alan, I have buyers that said to me, what is a letter of intent? Click. Oh, can you help me put a letter of intent? You know what? Get educated first and then make an offer. I don't have the time to teach you how to do that. Especially when it's the asset I want to sell quick. But yes, we have that one property for sale. Actually, we have syndicated tons of deals in the past year, duplexes, fourplexes, an apartment complex, single family home, probably 100 deals so far this year. So like I said, Alan, we're the real thing. I had a client that called me yesterday and said, why should I work with you guys? Because we're trustworthy, because we're accurate, and with the real thing. And you're not just dealing with Joe, the wholesaler, that does everything. it overpromises and overcommits and it doesn't deliver anything. We are actual company designed as a wholesaling company, which if you look in Tampa, there's very few that can say they've been wholesaling for at least a decade and they have testimonials from all over the world. And that's what most clients are looking for. They're looking to validate that information, especially if they're in the moon, you know, they're on the other side of the world. They want to make sure that the only way that they could kind of like by sight unseen be able to trust is by what other people are saying about you. So that's why we live and die by our reputation and our testimonials that we get.
Absolutely. You know, and you know, you mentioned those testimonials. You've got testimonials on your website. You've got them on your homepage. You've got video testimonials from investors throughout the world. And one in particular that comes to mind is a testimonial from a real estate wholesale firm in the United States, in another city, you know, several states away. But, you know, you're a resource for other wholesalers that are in different parts of the United States, because they realize, too, investing in the Tampa Bay area is, you know, incredible. So maybe talk about that just a little bit, that you're a resource for other wholesalers.
You know, I like joking around. I thought you were going to say my mother's testimony, and I was hoping you would skip that one. So I'm glad you did. But yes, great point, Alan. That's why I don't even like to have a script, because you know how to ask the right questions, man. Love it. But this is a big misconception, even among my own agents, and I manage about 50 agents, that the minute that they're talking to another colleague, another person in real estate, they get afraid. They back out. They say, well, they're a realtor, or they're a wholesale company, or they have some sort of involvement in real estate, so therefore they must know what they're doing, so I'm not going to attempt to do a sale. I could tell you guys that's a big misconception. Number one, most agents, like I said, most people in real estate still need a lot of education. Even seasoned, what you would call quote unquote seasoned investors that have done few deals, they're in diapers still. So that's one thing. Let's be realistic. Whether the person has a real estate license or not means squash. Doesn't mean anything, okay? Then when the person does have a real estate license, has been in the business for a while, actually that person appreciates the local knowledge, especially if they're coming from another city, that another company like theirs has in that local market. There's a reason why operators like mine tend to stick on the specific areas that they were born at. Like, I've been in Tampa for 30 years. Why do I stay here? Is because it still works for me. But number two, I'm sorry, I haven't even said number two, is because I know the area. I have the boots in the ground. I have the connections. I have roofers, plumbers, electricians that I've been working with for the past 15 years. Therefore, it's a no-brainer, you know? And when you think about what is the biggest issue when it comes to real estate investing, is when it gets down to repairs. Because you could buy right, you can see the numbers on the HUD, you can lend right, you can see the numbers on your note, but the numbers that you see on your rehab could be very different to the actual numbers as you go in and start gutting things around. So that's the part where you need a team in the ground that has some sort of loyalty back to you. In our case, we own a property management company. We feed these guys with a ton of leads. Therefore, we believe, and most of the time it is true, that they're going to be very accurate with the quotes. So if you ask me the one thing that I should look out for, and if I'm investing in another state, I would say, okay, give me a testimonial of your GC. You know, give me a testimonial of some other clients. So that's why most people gravitate to us, because we're able to cover some of those things.
Yeah, and you know, the wholesalers in other states, they've got to be working with someone, like you said, that has the boots on the ground and can take care of all of this, and that's why they choose Graystone. Well, Jorge, I want to talk about, you know, there's particular investors that, such as lawyers, doctors, they have their financial advisors, And they simply want a turnkey property. It's going to produce so much income every year. They're going to put that in their portfolio. Maybe they have a self-directed IRA. And then, as you were talking about retirement, that's going to be working toward their retirement and also generating cash flow throughout retirement. So, how about we talk about this type of client? And they want a turnkey. They just want everything to be done. They just want to. They just want to have the monthly cash flow, and they just want somebody to take care of them with that. So why don't we talk about that? Because you guys have specialized in that for a very long time and have a very unique program for those types of investors. So why don't we talk about that for just a little bit?
Absolutely. Anybody that wants to do real estate with us can do it without doing real estate, in a sense. They could come to us and say, I want to be involved 10% of the time, 50% of the time, 100% of the time. Okay, we have the capability and the resources to say, sit back, relax, give us the money, you invest, we do everything else. So it becomes kind of like a security, kind of like a stock in a way, because we're going to give you some projections. We're going to give you a pro forma. We're going to show you what are the ups and downs, the possibilities, the risk. We're going to give you values on the property. We're going to give you actually, Alan, we're the only company right now that's offering an appraisal, a 3D virtual tour, gallery of pictures, videos, quote, all of this about $1,000 worth of stuff before you even buy the property. So imagine how prepared you are. But at the end of the day, real estate is just another asset. I'm a former financial advisor, so I sold a lot of mutual funds, stocks, annuities, and things like that. And everybody should have, it's just common sense to be well diversified, that you have either a 70-30% split where it's either or. If you're more risky, 70% stocks, 30% real estate, or vice versa, depending on your comfort level and your personal profile. But it's a given. And some financial advisors that are holding on to millions of dollars of assets for clients, most of them know this. Most of them understand that it's the right thing to do. And I would encourage people, if you have your financial advisor, the next question is, what percentage of my funds are going to go to real estate? And if you're a financial advisor, don't worry about it. Contact me, I could help you. We could actually design a business plan together. How better than, because you have investors, financial advisors saying, invest this much money or start investing in a dollar cost average $2,000-$3,000 a month. And then after 20 years, you're going to make X amount of money. You're going to be able to retire. Guess what? We could do it with leveraging, buying a property, getting a bank loan, and taking that rent that comes out of the mortgage and funding retirement. So you could actually don't have to work so hard on your 30-year goal. You have to work very hard on your 3-year goal, which is creating those 2-3 properties that are going to be the autopilot thing after 3 years that are going to fund your next 20 years. So that's some of the things that the investors have to look at when they're looking at a real estate. It's a tangible asset. Land is the one thing that nobody can take away, replace. And one thing that a realization that had come to me recently is that even though I was terrified, everybody was, of investing in real estate after 2008. Everybody after 2008, in a way, was taking another layer of scrutiny when they were buying properties. They were more picky about buying properties. They were taking longer properties. A lot of time is because what happened in 2008. But when I reflect back to 2008, every single person that bought right, every single person that got the lending right is doing very well right now. So I'm not afraid anymore. Whatever happens, as long as you make sure that you have long-term lending, not this 3-year balloon thing, as long as you have reserves, as long as you stress test your rental, in other words, you keep low liability that if you have to lower the payment, the mortgage is still covered, you're gonna do it right. No single property in the past 100 years have gone backwards, given enough time. So I do believe in it, and of course I'm gonna sell it because that's what I do. But I do believe in it deeply in my heart. That is definitely the best strategy to make money, Alan. It's just the best strategy to build retirement.
100%. And the tax benefits to take your equity out. And I mean, it's just incredible with real estate. Well, Jorge, I know we have a hard stop here, but see if I can squeeze another minute out of you just to give me your background, because you mentioned that a little bit, but just sort of go back and give us your background from even the banking days and those things like that, if you don't mind.
I'm gonna go from the beginning, okay? So that way we can hopefully use this video in the future to dissect and create a buyer or something for me. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. So I started about 20 years ago. Before starting in real estate, I was a financial advisor for many years for Wachovia Securities. I was the privilege of working through wealth management, and I had a ton of clients with a lot of money that I would manage for them. One day, one of them said to me, you know, I know you're doing real estate on the side. Can we do the real estate? That sounds more sexier than the annuities you're selling me. And that was kind of like how everything started. I started making more money consulting in real estate than I was consulting in stocks. So I decided to move on into real estate. I thought I have a brilliant idea, which kicked my butt later, which is let me buy as cheap as possible as I could. I was buying properties in Tampa, New York City, $15,000, $18,000 in the hood, thinking, you know, it doesn't matter. As long as I buy cheaper, I'm going to be okay. And I started renting through Section 8, then realized that what an awful strategy that was. Then I came up with the concept of investing on the high end of the low end. And that's where everything started, when people started gravitating and wanting to grab my knowledge. Like, okay, Jorge, you have tried so many things and you talk about this high end of the low end. Can you talk to me about it? And that's when we founded homesforincome.com, Graystone Investment Group, where you invest, we do the rest. And you know, we've done every transaction that you could think of. I was a premier agent for Blackstone Invitation Homes when they came here. One of the few agents in the nation that was working directly with Blackstone. I think there was only 5 of us at the beginning. And as you guys know, they sold like 13,000 properties in a couple of years. I've been part of every single transaction you could think of, multi-units. I sold to one client in 2008, 100 houses, just one client. Of course, I'm a licensed broker as well. But pretty much my biggest passion, and I tell my wife this all the time, is not money. It's just being able to live the world better than when I was in it. And if I could help people take their retirement, and because at the end of the day, it all boils down to retirement in a way, you know, or future income, whether you call that retirement or not, because you never retire, but you having the flexibility of making that decision. So like I said, I've owned multiple companies. Right now, I own a few companies. We've had a record year in 2020 despite COVID-19. I believe I tie that success to the fact that we focus our marketing efforts globally, so we don't depend just in the US. And I'm here for you, my friend. Like I said, I've done everything. I wrote an article that went viral in regards to Section 8. I've had murders in my properties. I've had houses burned. I've had gunshots. Everything you could think of, I've experienced in real estate. So I'm here to hopefully avoid you from making the same mistakes, Alan. That's all I can say.
Well, Jorge, we appreciate the time. I know you've got a hard stop. You sort of went past that a little bit for us, and really appreciate that. And we'll go on and wrap it up here. I'm Alan McNabb with Image Building Media. It's internet marketing with proven results. And we appreciate the great privilege of working with you even before you started Graystone. So it's just been a privilege for us and a learning experience for me too. And we've become good friends. I really appreciate that. And I'll let you go on and wrap it up on your end, Jorge, and then we'll go on and close out.
Alan, I wouldn't be here without you. And you know why? I appreciate everything you did. And nothing, my friend. I just karma. do people right, and you'll have friends like Alan. So, and I'm very blessed to call you a friend, Alan. I think you appreciate it. That's it. I don't have anything else. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for being with us, and we'll close out, and we'll catch you again another time on Facebook Live.